This was by far and away the most challenging leg that I've been a part of. You know, I've been in the South. I've sailed in the Mocha. I've never sailed in the Mocha in the South. You know, they're fragile boats, definitely, and finding the limit I think is really difficult. And you know, we were able to overcome some serious adversity to get here to Brazil, and I just couldn't be prouder of the team that was able to do that.
Despite all those challenges, you did get here. You finished with points. Was there a time when you thought that might not be the case?
Yeah, it wasn't always clear that we were going to make it. You know, based on some of the issues that we had at the scoring gate, there were serious conversations about you know, stopping in New Zealand and sorting out some of the things that we were dealing with on board. But you know, in the end, we pushed through in a compromised state, but it was by far and away the right decision. You know, it didn't make sense to really regroup and then beat the boat up for another 2 weeks just to kind of fix it all here again. So it wasn't about convenience, it wasn't about competition at that point, it was just safety. If we felt like the boat was safe, we were going to continue, and that ended up being the case. So.
You've done 2 previous editions of the ocean race down in the Southern Ocean. How does this sort of marathon leg compare to what you've done before?
It's funny, in a lot of ways the length wasn't really the challenging part. You know, we always say that every leg, no matter how long it is, has a beginning, middle, and end, and it doesn't really matter how long the middle is. It was more the platform. You know, it's different sailing one of these things in the South than it is a Volvo 65. You know, in a crude configuration with people pushing and just how much can you use the foils, how much sail can you carry. Finding that balance was really delicate. I mean, the conditions were challenging, definitely. Just as challenging after we rounded the horn. Yeah. Just absolutely crazy leg. What a marathon.
What did you learn about yourself and your team through this?
I learned that you can never count this team out. You know, there were multiple times during this leg when you know, lesser teams probably would have given in, and even when it was improbable, most would have said impossible. We tried, and we succeeded to get the horse back, you know, on track, and it's kind of great to be here. You know, with a decent result. You know, it's not the one that we were hoping for by any means, but it's one that keeps us alive for later in the race.
What did you learn about yourself on a leg like this?
Yeah, for sure. You know, such a big leg. I think you go through every emotion possible. You discover a lot about yourself and your teammates. And I think the main one is, you know, the first week's almost the hardest because you're thrown into this super difficult environment and stuff's happening and really difficult to deal with. And then as time goes on, you sort of just almost get emotionally numb, I guess, to it all, and you just sort of cruising through it. Things happen and you get frustrated, you vent, you have highs, lows, ups, downs, goods, bads, and that's just how it is. It's life carries on, and you get through it. You're in your own little bubble. It's a bit weird, but it's something, I guess.
And now you're out of that bubble, nearly 40 days at sea.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to sort of step back into this and suddenly reintegrate?
Yeah, for sure. We've been on the boat for 39 days, and to come here and see everyone on the docks is amazing. It's almost a bit weird. You don't really know what to do with yourself because, you know, for 39 days we've been in mode, you know, work mode. You know, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always something happening. There's something to do, sail to trim or whatever's going on. And you know, you get on the dock and there's people, and you don't have to actually do anything. It's all a bit weird. So there's a bit of shell shock, I think, the first couple of hours. But sure, you know, it'd be great to catch up with everyone, go home, see the family, and yeah, really looking forward to that.
Great to be in Brazil.
Yeah, I think for sure we're not here with the result we were expecting. We had a lot of different issues on the way here, but yeah, it's a nice feeling to finally make it here. We were not always sure we would get to the end of the leg, but yeah, I think we kept it in one piece together, trying to find the solutions together when we were facing issues. So that's a good sense of accomplishment.
When you take on challenges like this, what do you learn about yourself through this kind of process?
Yeah, I think what we learned is that sometimes you feel like issues are too tough or too hard to resolve, and finally you can find solutions. Sometimes you need to wait a bit to be able to solve them. But yeah, there often are ways to manage to keep going.
This was probably the most challenging Southern Ocean leg I've ever done. It's certainly the longest in terms of the distance. I think we maybe did a longer one in terms of time in 2008, but this one certainly felt a lot longer and was a lot more challenging. I mean, we went into this leg knowing it was going to be tough, but I don't think we could ever have imagined how much stuff we would have had to overcome. And yeah, no, incredibly proud of the team that we muscled our way through and made it all the way to the finish line. I sort of learned a bit about myself and how to readjust. And yeah, it was sort of, there was a stage where it was tough and you know, frustrating. But then I kind of looked at it and said, okay, well, no, finishing is going to be a pretty epic result, and you know, you could be stoic about things. You can't control what happens to you, and the things certainly kept coming. But you can control how you react. So you know, tried to do everything with a smile on my face.
Coming up to 40 days at sea, you just arrived 10-15 minutes ago. What does it feel like when you look on the dock and you see these three?
Yeah, no, I've been yeah, counting the hours, I think, for days to see these guys. The family flew in, I think, on the 31st, and here we are on maybe the 5th, is it? I don't lose track of the days, so I've been anxiously awaiting arriving for a long time. But it was certainly motivation to get to the finish line to see these guys. So very happy. No worries.
Thanks.
Cool.
Beauty.
Nice.
I'm sure we'll catch up later this stopover, but congratulations.
Thank you.